We're gonna take another shot. Okay. Hi everyone, Ariana here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, which you probably are because this is my first video, thank you for visiting. Today we're doing roasted Brussels sprouts, which is not as daunting or gross as you may think. We're going to add some different things that you can find in your refrigerator or pantry to kind of play things up. And so if you're interested in doing that and just eating a little more healthy, you can follow along. All you're going to need are some Brussels sprouts, salt, pepper, and olive oil. And to make things fancy, I have some walnuts that I'm going to toast, some yogurt, but I actually prefer sour cream, so if you have sour cream, use that, honey, and some flaky salt. You may notice that I'm not using any measurements here because I think this recipe is great to test your palate on, but I do have all the ingredients listed below. Oh, and I also added some garlic powder because it's my favorite. As you can see, I've added enough olive oil and salt to coat the nuts, and I'm using the bowl to flick around all the ingredients to make sure they're evenly coated. Now would be the time to taste the nuts to see if they're properly seasoned, and then lay them out on a silicone or parchment lined baking tray and throw them into the oven at around 230 degrees Fahrenheit. These will be done toasting when they start smelling fragrant, and of course when you taste them, they should taste toasted. Mine took about 6 minutes, but every oven is different. Time for Brussels sprouts. Mine came halved in my grocery store, but I recommend getting them whole since they're less expensive. Cut them all roughly to the same size, whether in half or in quarters. This will make sure everything has an even cooking rate. Then slice off the nubby stem so that it doesn't become fibrous and chewy after cooking. Now we're looking for crispy Brussels sprouts here, so we're going to use a short-rimmed baking sheet so that the sides don't trap in any steam. Then take your Brussels sprouts, douse them in olive oil to coat, add some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Using my hands, I'm tossing the sprouts together to make sure they're all evenly coated. And then turn all your Brussels sprouts flat side down since we want that side to get nice and caramelized. Don't forget to take off the leaves from your baking tray since they will shrivel and burn in the oven. I have all the sprouts here, and notice that they aren't scrunched up next to each other because if they were, they would trap steam and make the sprouts soggy instead of crispy. This tray is going into the oven at 400 degrees. With the magic of YouTube, this took about a couple seconds, but in reality, 30 minutes has passed, and I kind of want them a little darker, so I'm going to throw them back in. In the meantime, I'm chopping my walnuts to add to the finished dish. My sprouts took about 5 minutes more in the oven, but what you're looking for in terms of doneness is caramelized bottoms, crispy on the outside, yet tender and soft on the inside. Okay, I'm done, but I am very happy with these and I'm gonna let them cool off for about 10 minutes. It is now finally plating time. I'm laying down my yogurt on a plate and then taking my Brussels sprouts and arranging them in a somewhat nice fashion, adding my chopped walnuts, flaky salt, and a drizzle of honey. There we have it. Brussels sprouts that were naturally bitter turned into something a little sweet through roasting. Not to mention added nuttiness with our walnuts, salt to amp up the flavor, even with added crunch. Also, if we were using sour cream as recommended, it brings about fattiness and creaminess in texture, yet cuts through the dish with its tang. I'm going to take a bite. So hopefully you heard that crunch. Yum! So that is how I make roasted Brussels sprouts and how you can play up your ingredients at home to make things a little bit more interesting. So if you're interested in learning more, you can subscribe to me. It would mean the world. Or you can also find me on other social media sites in my description. So thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Take a bite. Oh my goodness, that's huge. I can't. Still recording.